Hello, Internet! I am Torma Ximnus, and welcome to a pre-GenLock Season 1 reaction video? Question mark? See, I just got a notification that Rooster Teeth uploaded something GenLock related, and it had the GenLock release date listed as part of the tweet. I decided to check it out, and we have a video that is about 2.5 minutes. Oh my gosh, yes, could this be another trailer? I am really looking forward to seeing what's in it. But before we get to the video itself, if you enjoy watching my videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you'll never miss a new video. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments section below the video. I do respond to them when I see them. So, yeah. And now for the video. So, without further ado, let's begin in a 3, a 2, a 1, and now... GenLock! Hello! Okay, apparently there's a delivery to a base. I'm guessing this is the Freedom Fighters base, and that ship is delivering... Hey! It's delivering new team members! Let's go! Oh my gosh, yes. Hey, one of them has a guitar. Sweet.
Miss McLeod.
Must be a musician.
Edison? Miss
McLeod, Edison,
Valentina.
Romanov?
Specialist Sinclair? Welcome
Specialist Sinclair.
to the
Oh,
Anvil.
right.
So good to finally meet you
It's
all in
called the
person.
Anvil. Okay, that's cool. And
That's a hell of a way
I'm
to
guessing
say
it's bringing the
hello.
team up to
That's
6.
nothing. Wait till you see what he does to you next.
I was joking.
He wasn't. Caliban will
Oh,
stow
that's
your
funny.
gear in the hangar.
The hangar? Don't we get bunks?
he doesn't like
Not
people
if you're
managing
not
his
staying.
guitar.
Okay,
Wait, what?
everyone who can't came what's up with the mad scientist here, say aye.
Mad scientist.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Aye.
I do get ahead of myself. Apologies. On behalf of the ESU, thank you for all your
ESU,
time
okay,
thus
so they're called
far
the
testing
ESU.
for our
What is
program,
the
but you're not done.
ESU short
Not
for?
quite yet.
But we
Oh
passed.
yeah? What's next?
You advanced to the finals, but
Advanced
there
to the
are some
finals,
things
really?
we can only know if we deal with each other eye to eye. If it
I
doesn't
mean,
work
that
out,
is very true.
you'll be on your way home on the next transport.
And by doesn't
Oh,
work
says
out,
he.
meaning you have to be able to work together in a team.
And we just got off the plane. Mind if we refresh first?
Each
Oh,
minute we
is
waste
everyone
here
multilingual?
is another minute before you meet your future. Go, suit up, and I'll collect you shortly.
Did he say suit
Wow.
up?
He's like a kid on
He's-
Christmas morning.
Which
He's
makes us
very
what? His
fast-paced.
new puppies?
You're the new lab rat. Come on.
New puppies!
Once you get to know her, she's...
Oh my
Nah,
gosh.
she's pretty
And he's saying she's pretty much the same once he gets to know her. I guess that means you just get to tolerate her a little more than you do at the outset. Something to do with patience. Oh my gosh, these scenes and transitions and everything. I'm guessing this is going to be everything we see in Season 1, and it's going to be amazing! Oh my gosh, yes! Oh my gosh, yes. This is so cool! I can hardly wait! Okay, so I just need a quick second to get myself back in order. Okay, so we saw a lot of awesome stuff. I want to analyze some of this. So we are going to switch to this view right here. And we're going to go through some of this and go over it in more detail. Now, this part back here, we have the quote-unquote mad scientist guy. I'm guessing this is his assistant. Robot helper, obviously. And here's Chase, assuming that he's their ace pilot. Hey, Chase the ace! Haha! Nice. And that back there is what little bit we can see of their base. And we don't really get to see what's on the inside yet. Thus far, it's just the landing pad where the ship came in. So that means that each one of these areas here is a landing pad for another ship, and there's a runway, which I'm assuming is for the mechs or fighter jets or other kinds of things that get sent out from the base that either need to get out in a hurry or need to come back in there in a hurry. So, that'll be interesting to see. We got a few different towers here. This looks like a defense turret. And this over here, I'm not really sure what these are. These things on top of here, are those power generators? I think those might be power generators on top of those towers. And of course, there are all these antennas, which are used for transmission probably around the world, given that some of them came from halfway around the world. So, yeah, that's that's a big thing. Is this kind of like an elevator for the outside part of the building? I mean, that would be my guess. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might be. Well, what else do we have here? We've got this little dome thing over here, and no idea what that is. And I think there's another defense turret right in there, and we can see a couple of what look like supply crates. And going back just a bit further to this ship right here. Now this, I find this to be very interesting. An interesting design choice. These seem to function as both the means of propulsion as well as the feet when it lands, because we see it come over here, and then as it pulls in, those giant fan things, turbines, whatever you call them, they turn up flat, and then it kind of just goes down into place and rests on top of them. So it's kind of a cross between a helicopter and an airplane with small wings, and the main means of propulsion on the bottom side, with the main means of propulsion also serving as the feet of the aircraft. That is a design that I don't think I've seen before, and that to me is just very interesting. And then fast forwarding a bit more, we see that it opens up from the back. There are the seats that everyone was sitting in, so this looks like it could be some kind of drop ship. And of course, it's bringing in our 4 new characters from wherever they are in the world. I'm guessing one of them's probably from somewhere close to where Russia would be, since they said this, since that character said they came from like halfway around the world. And since the fighting's going on somewhere in continental America in the future, that means that the other side of the world would be something like Russia, China, etc. So I find that to be very interesting. And that it also shows that just maybe there may be pockets of resistance in other areas of the world. That this is not the only place. It just happens to be the place where the best fighters gather, probably to take on the most dangerous missions, while the other bases are engaged largely in guerrilla warfare. So yeah, that's very interesting. And of course, we've got this little lady right here with the mechanical rabbit ears flopped down. I really don't know if they're used for something or if they're just a design choice. If what we saw in previous trailers is what we go by, then she's a kind of tech person. So I'm guessing that those are for more than just appearance. Those little things that flop up and kind of look like bunny ears when they're active. I think I'll be very interested to find out what those are about. And this guy right here clearly likes playing music. I'd say it's kind of a form of stress relief for him. And let's see. I think each of them are carrying their own bags, which I'm guessing carries their belongings, clothing, extra gear, anything else they might need, maybe even a few small snacks for long trips. Which actually, yeah, that sounds about right. And then when they're going out on trips, these bags here that each one of them are carrying could probably go with them, holding specifically just the parts and provisions they need in order to be able to survive out on the field, both short-term and long-term. So that would definitely be useful. And let's see, what kind of design does this guy have on his guitar? I can't really see from here. Let me see if I can get a better shot. I want to see a bit more of a close-up on that. Let's see, fast forwarding, fast forwarding. Dang, we can't really see it because it's just showing the back end when the robot helper takes it. But, I don't know. I think either it's plastered in stickers and designs, or maybe he did his own art style on it. Maybe he's got an artist streak as well as a musician streak. Let's see. This part right here, where, oh, dang it, went off the frame. Okay, this part right here, where the blue light is flashed in her eyes, I'm assuming that is for identification, and it seems to cover most of her face, if not all of it. I'm guessing that it does one or both of two things. One, it's for getting the face part for an ID taken care of. The other is that maybe her retinal scan data will be put in for access to certain areas of the base. That's my guess, anyway. That was actually the first thing I thought of, too, but looking at it and how it covers her whole face, that could be for her getting some sort of ID thing taken care of as well. And I think they... Yeah, they move away before you can see him doing it to the others, and over to these guys here. But as we can clearly see, he's doing this for each person. So each of these individuals will be getting added into the database, and if that does take care of retinal scan data as well, then that would be useful for access to the base. I don't know if it's a multi-function thing where it handles everything at once, or if it's just a single function thing. I'm hoping there will be a bit more information about that later on. And then there's this seal right here. I'm assuming this is the insignia for the resistance fighters. Let's see, yeah, this right here is the best look we can get at it. I don't know what these symbols are here, but there seem to be 5 of them. And I'm wondering if that's indicative of, like, maybe there being 5 groups or 5 nations that are still quote-unquote free or having patches of resistance in them, which means it could be the 5 major countries of the world, with America being one of them. And if we follow that line of reasoning and that ends up being correct, then I would be very interested to find out who the other 4 are. We can take a clear guess at one of them being either Russian or German at a guess. Russia's bigger, but I don't really know that has any importance. Hang on. Let's fast forward to where there's the subtitle speak for the one person. Let's see. Okay, it's this guy. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's Japanese. So this guy comes from Japan. That would be one of the 5 countries. Okay, so Japanese, Russian. I'm pretty sure that's what those 2 are. Not sure about the other 2. This guy over here looks like he could maybe be some kind of European, if I had to guess. I'm not sure I know what accent that is. That's... What is that? What is that? The best I can think of... There are 3 possibilities. Either she's a southerner, because southerners do have kind of heavier accents, or she's British, or from somewhere on the European continent, or she's Australian. Honestly, I think that would actually be kind of cool if she was Australian, and that would also mean that Australia would be one of the 5 countries that would be part of the resistance. And that actually makes a lot of sense to me, because if you look at different areas of the world, Australia has 90% of the deadliest critters on the entire planet. Speaking of different nations, it just occurred to me that some of the areas picked out for the characters to come from could have some kind of correlation with places where RTX is held. And I know we have RTX Australia, so if we follow that line of reasoning and say she's Australian, then that would make a lot of sense from that point of view. So, possibly either British or Australian, definitely Japanese, most likely Russian. Jury's still out on this guy. He could be American, Canadian, or British without a heavy accent. I personally don't know, but I would be very interested to find out. Anyway, going back, let's have a look at some of the other areas. Oh yeah, we can see the runway lights here. So, yep, runway confirmed. Aha! It's a mountain base. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Mountains make for heavy natural fortifications, and that means that there is a lot of bulk between the mountain and the actual base structure itself. And that actually puts me somewhat in mind of the Stargate base in Stargate SG-1. I forget what it's called, but it's this mountain in the somewhere in the United States, and the guy that was running it for several seasons at least was General Hammond, and he was from Texas. But I digress. I don't know exactly where this is, but I do remember that it was showing the area that Chase's mission was in, taking place in somewhere in the Midwest, close to the northeastern part of the United States. So, going by that, I think either the base would be close to that, or he just got dropped there and we don't know where the base is yet. In the background here, we can see 1 or 2 satellites that also help with long-range communication. I'm guessing those communicate with satellites in space that help with global communication. Oh, hey! That actually kind of looks like a little rabbit thing, so maybe not a tanuki. I guess the thing that I was mistaking for a tail was just its hind legs. I sense a rabbit theme going on here. Grumpy old mad professor. Grumpy old assistant. Chase being somewhat mellow, but I think kind of a to-the-point guy from what we've seen thus far. I'll be very interested to see how he's developed as a character as well. Rear view of the ship and the seating areas, a good 1 or 2 stories above ground, I'd say. Maybe about a story and a half at least. So that is a decent way off the ground, and I think over here we get kind of a bit of a view of where the propulsion systems are. Although they don't seem to be touching the ground, so maybe there's feet that come out on the plane as it lands? Let's see here. Looking at this, and it looks like they're touching the ground, but it switches over before we can see much. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure about that, but let's bring it back over to here. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah. We can clearly see that it's got landing, I don't know what these are called, but the things that it rests on when it lands. So these aren't actually being rested on, which in retrospect is actually very good because that would probably put stress on the pivot joints for when it's in the air, and you really don't want that. That would be very bad. He's taking all the stuff away. That guy's debriefing them all on immediate things. We get a side view of the mountain. I'm wondering what these are here, if they hold some of the mechs or if they hold something else. I'm guessing maybe these could be the launch areas for the mechs, but not where the mechs rest at all times. So if those are the rest areas, well, not the rest areas. If these are where the mechs get launched from, then this would just be for the aircraft right here. So, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. You don't want to have everything going out the same way, because if you do, then that's going to cause trouble for if that one way is just taken out. And we can see a bunch of people moving in the background, so yeah, that has a very cargo bay / hangar area feel back there. And if my guess is right, these areas here with all the lights, those might have control rooms in them. And actually, these areas here could be what hold the mechs. So, again, I'm really not sure. I'm guessing that's something I'll have to wait until we get into Season 1 to have revealed. And then there's all of these guys talking, and wait a second. Dude, did he just stealth right behind them? Dude, I missed that when I was going through this the first time. Does that mean they basically have camouflage technology that renders them completely invisible? Or just bends light around them so that they become, you know, virtually unseen? That would be very interesting and very useful for stealth missions. I wonder what the maximum runtime for that would be in a single go on a full charge. I feel like that'll be an important thing to have covered in the story, just that we have an understanding of the limitations of current software and hardware in the world that this story takes place in, as well as having an idea of how urgent certain situations could be, depending on how long it would take to get further away from enemy combatants or to finish a particular stealth mission, versus how much charge time you have left for the camouflage function of your suit. So that will be very interesting to find out. That will be very interesting to see how it's utilized and how we see it used and gotten around during the show. And then everyone heads in, and we get to these scenes for later in the season. I'm guessing this is an air assault right here, with these two guys being on an airship. Either that, or they're on a high up place, probably defending the base, if this is one of the defense areas. So I'm going to give that a kind of a maybe. And then we have a picture of these jets coming in, and I'm guessing that is for the flight missions. I'm guessing that these are the Resistance fighters coming out of the Resistance base for flight missions, and that they're headed somewhere specific. So this right here, I'm sure we'll see later on in the season, and I'll be interested to see exactly what happens at that point. And then we have one of the mechs coming out, but I don't know if this is this still the Resistance base with the prior, with like the older generation mechs? But then again, we see this guy sitting here in that, and oh no, wait, no, that looks like it could be a fighter jet cockpit. Let's see here. Yeah, that's got a different shape than the outside front of the mech that we see. So pretty sure those aren't the same. The red lighting, though, either that means it's red alert, or it's supposed to indicate that it's a villain base somewhere. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Containers to the right. Okay, no, yeah, this is the Allied base, because they have that same weird pizza-shaped logo that we saw in an earlier scene. Yeah, right around here. It's the same pizza-shaped logo, so this is clearly still the Resistance base, which means that these areas here are where the mechs are held, and those are either prior generation mechs or the mechs that are being used currently in Resistance conflicts. But I feel like the latter one would be incorrect, because we saw the kind of mech that Chase is piloting, and it has a sleeker design and an actual headpiece, so that it looks more humanoid and less cumbersome, we'll say. And then, of course, him inside a jet, and this is her in a prison cell, I'm assuming, or somewhere in prison. I'm guessing that this is either going to be earlier in the series or later in the series. Actually, no, it could be later in the season too, and this could just be some of her backstory. Yeah, flashbacks for character development. I could definitely see that. And the next scene shows... Ooh. Yeah, very useful. Very, very useful. I like this. And this is more of the fighter jets. So either this is being used to show where the fighter jets are for a current mission, or it's being used to show something else. And let's see if we can get it on the proper frame. It looks like the Alliance fighters are being chased by an enemy fighter, or that could just be another Alliance fighter that we are not seeing properly due to... Oh, no. Okay, this one right here is definitely an enemy fighter. So this would be the middle of a dogfight, and they would be using the map to help get their pilots out of that situation so they could continue their mission. Or this could be part of their mission, and they're getting support so that they don't get so easily bopped. And then we see this spider tank looking thing, which is, again, probably an enemy force unit, or it could be an allied force unit. I'm not really sure because it doesn't have really all that many markers indicating one or the other. And these are 3 of the people that we just got introduced to. The one from Japan, the one who I'm not entirely sure where he's from, and this one here. I'm not entirely sure what the patch on the right is. It looks kind of like an eagle, I think. Like a stylized eagle done in a triangle shape. It actually reminds me of the SHIELD logo from Marvel's Agents of SHIELD. So that would be an interesting little Easter egg / callback. And if that has any special significance in the series, again, I'll be interested to find out as it comes out and is made apparent. Okay, yeah. Seems like we are going to have different colors for the different mechs. This one's blue. Not as sleekly designed as Chase's, so I'm guessing that's one of the other characters. And we have a yellow one here. And does the yellow mech have yellow eyes, or does that have blue eyes too? It has yellow eyes. Okay, so maybe the red mech isn't an enemy unit. Maybe it's an allied unit, but it's just the red one of the group. Wait. Are they going for a Power Rangers color theme here? If that's what they're doing, then okay, kind of cool, but question marks all over the place right now. Anyway, after this one... Oh yeah, it's showing them fighting in a base, and I'm guessing it could be an enemy base? Yeah, it could be an enemy base, unless they're defending their own base. And that is the last scene that we get before the introduction poster. Okay, so the red mech we saw before could have actually been an allied mech, just shown from a lower angle. So one has the forward-facing horns reminiscent of a bison or a bull or some other thing. Not entirely sure what this is supposed to be stylized off of. Probably just straight mech or something. It kind of gives you like a Predator kind of vibe, because if you know what the Predator looks like, then you see that they've got those dreads hanging down in the back that are kind of part of their combat suit, and this gives me the same kind of feel. Oh hey, another Rooster Teeth notification. I want to check that out in a bit. This one looks like it could be stylized after some kind of bird. And this one is the rabbit mech. So this one belongs to Bunny Girl here. This one belongs to... I don't really know where she's from. I think she's the one that was in prison and had to get released in order to be able to help out. This one, I think, belongs to probably her, if I had to guess. This one definitely... Oh, wait, not her, sorry. This one. Okay, so this one would belong to the Russian girl, and that would make this one basically a samurai mech, which would be very fitting with the theme of our Japanese character. So yeah, that's cool. And of course, this one right here would be Chase's mech. I have no idea what this is. I'm sure we'll find that out sometime in Season 1. Then, of course, we have the scientist, the robot helper, and a couple of other probably support characters. This will be very interesting. I am very much looking forward to GenLock. Oh, cannot wait for it to get here, but I have to, so I'll exhibit patience. As always, if you enjoy watching my videos, please subscribe. Turn on notifications so that you'll never miss a new video. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. And until next time, this is Torma Ximnus signing off. Stay frosty, my friends.